Kevin Durant is a son. Courtside yesterday as his new superstar squad went off against the Sacramento Kings. No one more excited than Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and Devin Booker. CP3 had 19 assists in the win. Book dropping 32 last night. Here he is on his new teammate.
I think he got 2 standing ovations, and it's not going to be the last one. So, you know, he deserves that. He's a legend in this game, first ballot Hall of Famer, everything all the way down the list, MVP. And, you know, I'm glad he's here. Hopefully he can call this home one day and, you know, rock out here the rest of the time.
All right, round 1 was a draw, ready for round 2. JJ's back. How would a title, that was a joke, you're supposed to smile.
I did smile at the camera. I smiled.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't show teeth.
Okay.
Maybe that's what threw you off.
How would a title for KD in Phoenix, how would that impact his legacy?
Listen, he's an all-time great anyway. I don't know if he needs another title. He needs more. I mean, anybody see that series against Milwaukee a couple years ago by himself? Mm-hmm. He was the best player on Golden State when they won twice. In my eyes, I don't think a title is going to change the perception. He's an all-time great player. You can make an argument, easily top 10 in the history of the sport. But the thing he will not change, in my eyes, he's not going to change the fans' perception. He's bounced around too much. He wanted out of Oklahoma City. He left Golden State. He followed Kyrie to Brooklyn. He was a pain in the neck in Brooklyn, wanted to be traded, not wanted to be traded. I think he would have been better off to tell Brooklyn after they traded Kyrie, you know what? Let me stay here. I'll work with Simmons. You bring Dinwiddie in here, who's a good player. We have Bridges, who's a good player. Let me see if I can piece together a championship or a big run when I'm in Brooklyn. Don't send me to Phoenix, that has already had the best record in the league last year, got to the finals 2 years ago, and I have Booker and Paul. Let me stay here. Let me show you what I can do when I'm the only great player on this team, and I'll see how far I can take him. That is where his legacy would have grown. Going to Phoenix to win with Paul and Booker. Now, it might be good for this Phoenix Suns fan. They never won a championship, so I understand that. For that fan base who's never won, they're like that. But for the rest of the country, all right, he won in Phoenix. We all know he's great. The legacy to me is his reputation, not his ability.
Yeah, for a certain group of people, I don't think there's really any, and this is why I'm going to ask you and Stephen A. both this question. I don't necessarily think there's anything he can do to further his legacy with a certain group of fans, of NBA fans. And part of that is there's people that, for whatever reason, will not forgive him for 2016 from going to the Thunder and to the Warriors after the Warriors had beat them in the Western Conference Finals. You bring up all time, right? Like, to me, Jordan, LeBron, Russell, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Tim Duncan, Kobe, Steph, Wilt, that's the top 10 players of all time. The next group of guys, Dream, KG, Dr. J, Jerry West, Durant, Oscar, Barkley, like that's the next group of guys to me. If he wins a championship, he's probably at the top of that list, right? He's borderline top 10 player of all time. You bring up a great point, which is the Phoenix Suns thing. I think if he wins a championship there, it brings that organization a championship for the first time in history. That's meaningful. That's meaningful when we talk about legacy. But the basketball legacy and the perception are two very different things. Two very different things. And it's a great point you bring up. I want to just say one other thing real quick, Stephen A., and I'll let you go. Larry Bird, 37.6% from three for his career at 1.9 attempts per game. It's just not arguable that he's a top three-point shooter of all time. Okay, go ahead, Stephen A.
I agree with you. Way to get that in on Dougie. Way to get that in on Dougie. Listen.
He won that one. Where's the white flag? I put a white flag up. Go ahead.
It's like, if you're going to go numbers and stuff like that and talk about Kevin Durant as second tier, fine. For me, what makes him second tier is one component that he lacks, and that's aggression. I think that when Kevin Durant is healthy, he's the best player on the planet. That's how I feel about him. And I think that anything he hasn't done is because at times he was willing to be deferential. The numbers were always there, but there's that it factor, that go-get-it factor where he didn't mind trusting a teammate and doing things the right way, as they would say. LeBron at times has been accused of being that, at points in his career. We get all of that, but I'm just saying that's the kind of stuff that people will throw out. I'm one of those people that have been on the record stating, A healthy Kevin Durant, there isn't a single player on the planet that I want above him. That's just me. His efficiency, the fact that he's unguardable, he's a 7-footer, he's got long range, he can hit threes, he got very few people on the planet have ever shot the mid-range better than him. Obviously, his athleticism, his ability in the open court, the free throw line as well. The brother is just he is just a sniper. He's got an offensive arsenal, the likes of which is rarely seen in NBA history. So I consider him first tier. Having said all of that, I think this is the important point to bring up. There's nothing to question about Kevin Durant's basketball ability, and there's nothing to question about his willingness to want to go out there and play. He's one of those guys, JJ, and you know this. When Kevin Durant doesn't play, it's because he's hurt. I mean, he ain't hear anything about load management, and which makes him a great ambassador for the game of basketball. I do believe, however, that the departure from Golden State to Brooklyn hurts. And here's what Kevin Durant needs to understand. I and others may have maligned him for going from OKC to Golden State after losing a 3-1 lead and blowing that series, and then you end up going to the team that took you out when they were ready-made. They had won 73 games the year before, losing to, and losing to LeBron in the Game 7 in the finals, and Kyrie, of course. But to me, the bigger blemish was departing from Golden State to Brooklyn. And it wasn't just because of Steph Curry to Kyrie Irving. It's because of Kevin Durant's words. He wanted to play the right way. He wanted to do things the right way in order to facilitate him winning. That was why he departed from from Oklahoma City to Golden State. He told me that personally. He told that to the public. That was his commitment to the game. There was no reason then to depart from Golden State to go to Brooklyn. You went to Brooklyn because you wanted your own shop. You went to Brooklyn because you wanted to be with your boy. It is impossible, absolutely impossible, to say you wanted to go from Golden State to Brooklyn to play a better brand of basketball. That is just false. It's not true. And so because that decision was made, I'm talking about his words. If he never said those words, JJ, that's different. But he did say that. And because that was his thinking when he departed from OKC to Golden State, to go from Golden State to Brooklyn is going to be the indictment that people are going to hold on to because of how Brooklyn and how everything ended up in Brooklyn.
I know we don't have a lot of time, Stephen A., and sure, there's a lot to unpack there. I just want to point out, I don't remember him saying that when he went from Golden State to Brooklyn. I know for a fact he said that when he went from OKC to Golden State.
Okay,
they said that to you. But I know for a fact publicly he talked about that. That was one of the reasons that he went to Golden State, was because he wanted to play basketball the right way and have fun playing basketball.
Right.
So I just wanted to clarify.
From OKC to Golden State.
By the way, put Elgin Baylor on that. You got him written down there?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the next guy. He was the next guy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.